Our new Audit Recommendation Dashboard aggregates the work of dozens of audit reports and hundreds of recommendations my office has issued since January of 2020. It's important for the public to know how well city agencies are fulfilling their promises to improve programs and services. Our interactive tool provides a simple and comprehensive way to track those outcomes in addition to the individual follow-up reports we publish. Here is a brief tutorial on how to use our new Audit Recommendation Dashboard.
The Denver Auditor's Office Audit Recommendation Dashboard is available at denvergov.org/auditor. There are two ways to navigate the dashboard. You can scroll through it using our guided web pages, or you can browse it independently by opening it in full screen and clicking on the numbered arrows below each slide. This user guide will walk you through our web pages, which we designed to offer you the clearest understanding of the many data points our dashboard has to offer. When you first visit the dashboard, you'll see a general overview of all of our public recommendations since January 1st, 2020. Here you can see the number of reports and recommendations that we've already followed up on, and the number of reports and recommendations that we haven't yet followed up on. Audited agencies set their own implementation deadlines, and we follow up once all of those dates in a report have passed. We verify the extent of implementation only for the recommendations that an agency agreed to implement. You'll see here we're tracking how often agencies agree to implement our recommendations, and then once we followed up, how well they're implementing those. Based on our follow-up analysis, we determine one of three outcomes: fully implemented, partially implemented, and not implemented. The dashboard also has a category to track the recommendations that an agency did not agree to implement. We don't follow up on those because we presume the agency took no action to address the identified risk. Below each interactive graphic, you'll see an option to view the slide in full screen to help ensure optimal viewing and accessibility. You'll also have opportunities to jump to the data you're most interested in, whether it's browsing by a particular agency, by a particular audit, or if you're just curious whether we've followed up yet on a given audit. Next, using these three tabs, we provide brief instruction on how to use the dashboard, what data is and is not included in the dashboard, and some definitions of key terms so that you know what we mean by, for example, the different implementation statuses and the various rates we cite, such as the acceptance rate and the rate of full implementation. At the bottom of this overview, you can find links to learn more about our audit process and visit our audit reports webpage. There you can browse and read all the reports referenced in the dashboard. When you're ready to advance to the next page of the dashboard, click Next. This page guides you through data focused on the overall agency responsible for implementing a recommendation. The agencies are ordered based on the number of recommendations we've made to them, and the bars next to each agency's name include the number of recommendations at the various statuses. By clicking on a specific agency's name, the percentages and summary data points will update to highlight that agency's implementation efforts. You can reset the graphics in the dashboard at any time by clicking on the reset icon in the bottom right corner, which is available on most slides of the dashboard. Scrolling down will take you to the next slide in the dashboard, which provides a comparative look at the acceptance rates among the agencies we've audited. That is, the percentage of recommendations they've agreed to implement out of all recommendations we've made. It also shows how often those recommendations have been fully or partially implemented once we've followed up. Clicking on an agency's name will highlight details specific to that agency. You can also sort the table based on each column. Scrolling down one last time on this page, you'll now be able to view more detailed information on the recommendations we made to each agency. For example, here we show Denver International Airport. The numbers offer a general overview of all recommendations, and in the table, you can scroll both vertically and horizontally to read more detailed information about each recommendation we've given. You can also drill down to recommendations made to a particular division of an agency, for example, the concessions division of the airport. And you can browse by a specific audit report of interest. With available filters, you can choose whether you want to view all, some, or just one option at once. Click the option you're interested in. To select more than one at a time, hold down the Control key on your keyboard while selecting the additional options. At the bottom of this page, we offer you the chance to view further breakdowns of the implementation efforts for Denver International Airport and the Department of Public Safety. These two agencies have received more recommendations than any others since January 2020. Because of these agencies' sizes and scopes of responsibility, our recommendations are oftentimes directed more specifically at individual departments or divisions within each agency. For instance, viewing the Department of Public Safety in greater detail will give you a snapshot of recommendations specific to the police, fire, and sheriff departments. Back on the web page, click Next at the bottom to continue through the dashboard. Now you're viewing the data as broken down by audit report. You can scroll down within this next graphic to browse all the reports we've done since January 2020. You can also filter the chart by year, by agency, and by implementation status. Scroll down the page to the next slide and you'll see that just like you could with each agency, you can drill down here to more detailed information by audit report. Within this graphic, you can scroll both vertically down the table and across to see the details of each recommendation. At the bottom of this page, click Next to advance to the final graphic in the dashboard. On this last page, you can see a summary of which follow-ups we've completed to date and how many recommendations are associated with each. Here you can scroll down the table and filter by agency, by a division of an agency, and by the year of the original audit. You can return to the dashboard overview by clicking this button at the top of any of the pages. Thank you for joining us for this brief tutorial on how to use the Denver Auditor's Office Audit Recommendation Dashboard.
I hope you find this new tool as valuable as we do in our pursuit of accountability and transparency on behalf of all who care about Denver. If you have additional questions or feedback for our office, email us at auditor@denvergov.org.